how do we, if we really are serious about doing this with integrity, then I think, if someone is in a high profile uh, clinical trial with a for-profit pharma company, that perhaps they offer to be transparent about their own finances. They really want to put their money where their mouth is. Open your finances. Show how many stocks you have. Show kind of redacted bank statements that prove you're not receiving money. Like, that's the kind of thing that I think would actually embed an integrity into the system. Anything short of that, I'm very worried about.
I think it makes me think now of the Oregon. I think it was Proposition something, the Oregon psilocybin service initiative. And then I'm not sure exactly what it is that they managed to get into law, because I didn't end up following up on it. But if there's some sort of legal thing that is represented in government, if people like the North Star Pledge are not only saying, hey, like, put our badge on your website if you commit to our ethics kind of thing, but they're actually lobbying to have things put into law that say, like, that people must be acting according to these things, or they are subject to consequences on the governmental legal end of things. Where now, because otherwise, if it's just private versus private, it's whoever has the most money wins. And even private versus government is often whoever has the most money wins. And generally, the people with the most money are generally the people who are most likely to be bad actors, because that's how, for the most part, you get a lot of money in our current civilization.
Yeah, it's a really good point. And this is such a tricky thing, right? Because the question is always who decides, right? So it's like, do we want the government regulating psychedelic clinics? Perhaps a medical establishment like the FDA, maybe. I don't know. But what I'd be interested in is, like, look, we're the psychedelic community, right? And have experience and a lot of heart and a lot of intelligence. We should be coming up with a psychedelic answer to this question. One that is, like, different, countercultural, complex, like, tapped into different ways of doing things. Perhaps there's some way of creating a really tight, decentralized system of governance, like a kind of blockchain version of governance that doesn't require a central point. So it's something like that. I'm just riffing right now, and it's not my area of expertise. There's got to be some people, though, like Bennett Zellner, for example, with the pollination approach. He's kind of putting in place and kind of arguing for a certain approach. We need more of those, I think, and people in the community who are just really good at that kind of thing to go, hey, well, here's a way you could make it really anti-fragile. Here's a way you can never reduce all the harm, and you're never going to reduce all the bad actors, but you can certainly get closer than we are now, I think.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, if you were to ask me, I've answered the question previously and probably much better than I would now, around how I feel about the idea of the government's role in the legalization of psychedelics. But I think that one of the central elements of that whole question you just had is also making them not illegal, so that everybody who has a vested interest in how things unfold get to speak up about it. Because the people who have a lot of money, they can speak up about whatever they want because they're anti-fragile, because they got the money to get away with basically anything that they want to say. But the people who are, say, in it for 30 years and are providing, they can't speak up. There's a lot of people living in places where they don't feel they can speak up because of legal consequences or social consequences. So as long as there's still criminalization, draconian prohibition of psychedelics, and the changing landscape of cultural stigma against psychedelics, then we're not really able to openly have that discussion.